Today I'm going to show off the best 10 watches I reviewed in 2024. Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. Today is the best of the best. Yes, the 10 best watches I reviewed in 2024 I'm going to show off today. And although they may not have been new releases of this year, it's the first time I've got my grubby hands on them. Now, I have reviewed some absolutely stunners over these 12 months. And to be honest, it's been quite tricky to pick a best 10, you know? But anyway, I've done it. We've got watches from £20 up to £2,500. Remember, this is my own personal opinion. I don't know if you know this, but this is my channel. This best 10 is based on my tastes and no one else's, particularly the wife's, all right? Yes, you're gonna get all 10 first impressions from the wife of these watches too. Can't wait for that. Now, before I show you the watches, I have to tell you about today's sponsor, who are HelloFresh. Now listen, in an ideal world, you and I would like to eat healthily, you know? Cooked meals using fresh ingredients with easy to follow recipes. However, thinking of meals to cook for the family every single day of every single week is flipping hard work. Well, with HelloFresh, the hard work is taken care of. They offer a meal kit service that delivers step-by-step recipes with fresh, pre-portioned ingredients right to your door. And what's great, you get to choose from 50 different recipes a week. But my favorite part is their new Build a Plate feature. You can order a main for the family, and each individual in the family can customize their meal by choosing their own toppings. That is very good for those picky teenagers, isn't it? Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's show. Click in the description below. You'll also see a special code. Use that and you'll get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. Get on HelloFresh's website and start eating healthily simply. Right, let's crack on, shall we? Are you best of 2024 ready? Let's go. And at number 10 is probably one of my favourite affordable watches of this year, and it's from a company called Momentum. One of the owners formerly owned a company called Chronosport back in the 80s, and a Chronosport UDT was on the wrist of Rambo in Rambo 2, I think. Anyway, after months and months of speculation, Momentum brought back the UDT. And it is an awesome Anadigi diver that looks like it came straight out of the 80s, but with the modern refinements like the ceramic matte bezel insert, the now screw-in pushers and screw-in crown. The watch case is very similar, if not the same, as the Seaquartz 30 they came out with last year, which was also a big hit. This watch is a tactical stunner. Fits so well on my wrist. It's going to fit well on any wrist, to be honest. But a big upgrade to this watch was that it now was solar powered. I think it was around £300, maybe a bit less on the first pre-order. The annoying thing is you can't just go out and buy this watch, I don't think, at the minute. But when I'm looking for watches from brands that add to the watch market and don't just fill an already crowded space, a company to do an Anadigi watch in 2024, good going. Next up, a Casio, the most legible digital watch money can buy for around, I don't know, 20 odd pounds. This watch has the look of a G-Shock and the legibility of a clock you find at a train station. An absolute must for anyone with eyes that are a bit, you know, rubbish. The battery life is great. The water resistance is great. The wearability, even though it is quite a big watch, on my wrist, it still looks great. This is one of those Casio gems everyone should own. If only for putting your watch down the end of the garden and testing whether you can still read it. 1040! You will be able to. At number 8, my favourite affordable Seiko of 2024, the SSK 023. They put their new GMT movement inside a field watch that had the looks of the old SNK 809s, gave it a great unique bracelet, and I truly think they made something special. Now, I've mistakenly called this watch a 37-38mm watch in the past. It's not, it's 39 $1,999, but because of that great bezel and the dial not being too big, this watch feels like a 38mm. It's so comfortable on the wrist. It's the perfect everyday watch with 100 meters water resistant. The movement is automatic and you can independently move that GMT hand. It's a fantastic contender for the one watch collection, isn't it? And the prices are coming down from the review I did. I'm sure you'll be able to get this for around $350, under £400 now. This was a winner for me. Next up, a dive watch with fantastic history. We are talking the brand Volcane, and this was when I reviewed the Nautique Skin Diver. Just look at this blue dial. Absolutely incredible, so dynamic in the light. This watch was built so well, beautifully finished, great diving bezel action, and was traditionally sized, very slender on the wrist. Surprisingly, powering this watch is an ETA 2824, 4 hertz movement, beautiful smooth sweep. I just love the way it's made. It's a proper vintage looking skin diver. It's a reissue that's from a watch many years ago, and it's 100% one of my favorite dive watches of the year, no doubt. Absolutely destroys the Oris Diver 65 in my opinion, and significantly cheaper than that as well. The most comfortable FKM Tropic rubber strap that's on the market. I do love Volcane. Next up, another GMT. Like I'm going anywhere outside of the UK soon. But when I reviewed the Monta SkyQuest, I learned a couple of things. I now understood why a lot of people called Monta the Rolex of the microbrand world. The finishing and the quality of this watch was absolutely second to none. The details from the dial, the bezel grip, the bracelet to the clasp. This watch was an absolute stunner throughout the watch. And I reviewed this watch at a time when I had just reviewed the Black Bay GMT, and it made me realize this, that Monta SkyQuest, which is over £1,000 cheaper, is far better than the Black Bay GMT, as that watch is almost unwearable for anyone with wrists less than 7.5 inches. And although it's not cheap at just under £2,000, this watch left a big mark with me.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Next up, the highest placed Casio in this 10, and it's a watch that has been a bit divisive online, basically because of the price and how scarce it is now. When this Casio was released, certainly in the UK, it was sold out within minutes. And I am talking about the Casiotron TRN50, the reissue of the very first Casio digital watch, the Casiotron. So unique to anything that Casio makes right now, I had to buy it. From the fluted bezel to the stainless steel bracelet, the screen and digital display. No, this watch isn't solar powered. Now, yes, it is quite a scuffed monkey, seeing that there is a lot of polished parts to it, and I don't usually go for polished watches. But this one, I had to make the exception because it is so significant, seeing as though it's modeled after the first Casio watch that came out 50 years ago. And if you know me, you know I like a reissue and a bit of history. This watch will never leave me, and I'm so glad I bought it.
Hello.
Okay, we're up to number 4, and I don't usually love modern watches. What I mean by that is I don't tend to go for a style of watch that is not heavily inspired by something from the old days. But this brand right here single-handedly made me fall back in love with Swiss watchmaking. And people, I am talking about the Formex Reef Diver. Yes, the 39mm beauty that had that radiant bronze dial. Not only does this company make amazing dials, but the tech around the watch is incredible. Being an owner of an Essence already, I knew what I was in for. And when you get past that semi-looking like a Patek Philippe Nautilus sticky out flanks on the side of the watch, you understand just what a special watch this is. If this watch had Omega printed on the dial, it would be at least £10,000. But it has the quality, the polishing, the finishing, the chamfering, and I think the 39 Reef was a big release for this company. This watch also has a novel way of interchanging bezels, so you can completely change the look of your watch. This has got to be in my top 10 of the year. Number 3, and it's a Seiko. It's actually the one I got on my wrist, to be fair. In my view, possibly the best Seiko I have ever reviewed.
And that's saying something, because I've seen a lot of Seikos come and go.
The whole watch is made from titanium, but it's not the titanium that feels light. There's a bit of heft to it, and that's what I was taken back by to start with. But take a look at that dial, people. It's almost as if I'm in an igloo and I've cut out a circle in the floor and I'm looking down into a watery hole. I just get lost in this dial. Everything about this watch is the best of the best Seiko does in terms of finishing, materials. The movement has a 4 hertz beat to it, and if you are a Seiko fan, you will know that if you want a smooth sweep like that in your Seiko, you've got to pay the money. This houses the 8L35, which is pretty much a Grand Seiko movement without the decoration. The bracelet comes with a Marine Master extension. Not that this is a dive watch or anything. It's still 200 meters of water resistance. I do actually love the silver date window. The crown is sized perfectly. The whole watch is just magnificent for me. And like a lot of watches I tend to review and love with Francis & Gay, it didn't go back to Francis & Gay. I bought it. Even though my SPB 153 is my favourite Seiko of all time. Oh, this is good. Number 2, and this is the highest ranking Casio or G-Shock. Now, a few months ago, I reviewed a limited edition run of a Casio. Yes, the GA2100s. G-Shock collaborated with Manga, and they came out with a couple of absolutely fantastically fun G-Shocks. Finally making the Casio legible. They definitely look like they have been taken out from a comic strip, 3D printed and then put on your wrist. The only annoying thing with these releases is that they didn't make enough of them because they sold within minutes. I just wish I owned one. So we've had 9 great watches there, haven't we? And before we talk about the number 1, I have to do some honourable mentions. First up, Zero West's M1, the fantastic watch commemorating Operation Jericho. This is definitely one of my favourite dials of the year, there's no doubt about it. And it was the first time Zero West did a pilot's watch that wasn't based on a dial on the plane. That plane being a Mosquito. And a part of the Mosquito from the Jericho mission is in the back of this watch. Incredible feat of engineering. Zero West nailed it. The Volcane Cricket. This is the watch that made Volcane a star. In the 1940s, they manufactured a mechanical alarm watch, which sounded like a cricket. Now, most people would think that that dial could not be beaten, but take a look at the back. Oh my God. A movement that's exclusive to this company. And check out that vibrating hammer. And I can't forget the watch I recently bought for myself.
God knows I need another watch.
The Seiko Prospex Solar Speed Timer Chronograph SSC 947P1. This watch is in the colour palette of the Pogue Speed Timer that came out in 1969. This is a great solar powered watch. Fits me great. Love the bracelet. And I just love that amber honey colour up against the blue and the red on the bezel. So we come to our number 1. And this is my preference, this is my opinion, based on my loves and not loves. My favourite brand, if it's not Casio or Seiko, is Vertex, okay? A company that was first formed in the 20s and made a big name for themselves in the 1940s for being one of the Dirty Dozen watches. They were the only British watch brand chosen. Now in the quartz crisis of the 70s, the company stopped trading, and it wasn't until 2016 did a blood relative decide to bring back the brand. Anyway, in 2024, Vertex released the M36, the true commemoration of that Vertex chosen by the MOD. And let me tell you, it's just a perfect watch for me. The dial is phenomenal. The case is superb. Vertex used solid blocks of lume, which makes the dial pop out at you. Design genius that some brands are starting to copy now, by the way. But there it is, my favourite watch of the year, the Vertex M36. Sweet! So here it is. 10 of my wife's first impressions of each of these watches. Are we ready? At number 10. Looks like it's about to set a bomb off. A lot of buttons, it looks a bit cheap on the outer rim. Logo looks like a car logo. It's not the worst you've ever shown me. Is this a joke? It looks like a space helmet. A bad golfer Garmin watch. Tell me you didn't buy this. Looks like a Lego bracelet. Like the hands, the face is nice, but the strap lets it down. I don't know why, but it's making me think of cigarettes. It's also very flat. I don't really like it. Too much gold. Reminds me of something you'd buy on a Greek holiday. How much did you pay? Please tell me it was in yen. I don't mind it. For some reason, I'm getting fairground vibes. Overall, it's a bit shiny, but I don't mind it. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. The dial looks like flesh colour, which puts me off. The teeth reminds me of an octopus or a squid with teeth. There's a lot of metal here, isn't there? It looks like a transformer. The blue dial is nice, but it reminds me of a transformer's eyeball. I like this. They look like they've been ripped out of a comic book. Very fun. And number 1. Yes, this is brilliant. Understated elegance. The overall watch is special. So there we go, a mixed bag from the wife. I'm so glad she likes number 1, at least. So, what a collection of watches. What a year's worth of watches. And even though we're coming into my 5th year of doing this channel, I still feel I haven't scratched the surface. But the question remains, will there be a Citizen on next year's list? Will there be a dress watch on next year's list? I guess you can always hope. Thank you so much for watching till the end of this show. If you want a bit more of the Mad Watch Collector, click there and join. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, why don't you click this one? This is absolutely sensational. One of my favourites. You'll love it. Go on, click it. You will love it. I guarantee it. Oh, just looked at me. Landmaster. God, don't leave me here for too long. I might lose myself. Go on, click it. Click it.